Brigadier Allan Lawrence Mallinson is an English author and retired British Army officer. Mallinson is best known for writing a series of novels chronicling the life of Matthew Hervey, an officer serving in the British 6th Light Dragoons from the late Napoleonic Wars through subsequent colonial conflicts in India, North America and South Africa. Early life. Mallinson was born on 6 February 1949 in Yorkshire, England, to Alfred and Edith Mallinson. From 1966, he trained for the Anglican priesthood at St Chad's College in Durham. Military career. Mallinson took a break from his theological studies to join the army in 1969, joining the King's Own Royal Border Regiment as a second lieutenant on probation, and served with the infantry in Cyprus, Malaysia, Northern Ireland and Germany. He was confirmed as a second lieutenant in 1970, promoted to lieutenant on the 11th of February 1971, and promoted to captain on the 11th of August 1975, and acting major on the 1st of September 1979. He transferred to the 13th, 18th Royal Hussars on the 28th of October 1980, and was promoted to substantive major on the 30th of September 1981. He served in Whitehall, Norway, Cyprus and again in Germany. He was promoted to lieutenant colonel on the 31st of December 1988, commanding his regiment from 1988 to 1991. He was promoted to acting colonel on the 1st of December 1992, and to substantive rank on the 30th of June 1993 and then to brigadier on the 1st of September 1999. His last army appointment was as the British Defence and Military Attaché in Rome. He retired from active service on the 16th of March 2004. Works. Fiction. Hervey series. The Hervey novels are similar to the sharp novels written by Bernard Cornwell in that the heroes of both series of novels are British Army officers. Hervey, however, is a proper officer, unlike Sharp, who was raised from the ranks. Sharp's campaigning was largely confined to the Napoleonic Wars, with some pre-Napoleonic India experience, whilst Hervey campaigned for many years afterwards in Canada, India, South Africa, Burma and the Balkans. In UK hardback publication order, the Hervey novels are A Close Run Thing, Cornet Hervey's adventures before and during the Battle of Waterloo, The Nizam's Daughters, Hervey in India, defending the fictional princely state of Chintal, A Regimental Affair, Problems in the Regiment in England and Canada, A Call to Arms back in India, An Independent Excursion on the Borders of Burma, The Sabre's Edge, set in the First Burmese War in 1824, and the Siege of Bharatpur in 1826. Rumours of War. Hervey in Portugal in 1826, with flashbacks to the Peninsular War before the Battle of Corunna in 1809. An act of courage. Hervey imprisoned at Badajoz at Christmas 1826, with further flashbacks to the Battle of Talavera in 1809 and the Siege of Badajoz in 1812. Company of Spears. Hervey in the Cape Colony in 1827 fighting the Zulus, immediately before the death of Shaka and the accession of Dingaan. Man of War. In 1827, Matthew Hervey is in England, unusually seeing no action. Meanwhile, in a parallel storyline, his old friend Peter takes part in the Battle of Navarino. Warrior. 1828, Hervey is tasked with escorting an embassy to Shaka, king of the Zulus, whose motives are under suspicion. On His Majesty's service, Hervey is sent as an observer to the Russian army during the war with the Ottoman Empire in 1829. Words of command. 1830, and Hervey is in Belgium during a time of unrest. Nonfiction Light Dragoons, a non-fictional history of the 4 light cavalry regiments of the British Army. It was published in 1993, soon after he relinquished command of 13th, 18th Royal Hussars, 2 of the Light Dragoon regiments. The 13th was originally raised as a heavy dragoon regiment in 1715 but later converted to Light Dragoons. The 18th was raised as a Light Dragoon regiment in 1759, both retitled as Hussars in 1861, merged in 1922 and then merged with the 15th, 19th the King's Royal Hussars to form the present Light Dragoons in 1992. The making of the British Army, from the English Civil War to the War on Terror. The book examines nearly 500 years of the British Army and examines how its military actions has made it one of the most effective fighting forces in the world today. Mallinson demonstrates how people and events have shaped the Army's development. Sections include how Marlborough's victory at Blenheim is linked to Wellington's success at Waterloo, how the desperate fight at Rorke's Drift in 1879 underpinned the heroism of the airborne forces in Arnhem in 1944, and why Montgomery's momentous victory at El Alamein mattered long after the Second World War. 1914, Fight the Good Fight. Britain, the Army and the coming of the First World War. In this major new history, one of Britain's foremost military historians and defense experts tackles the origins and the opening first few weeks of fighting of what would become known as the War to End All Wars. Intensely researched and convincingly argued, Allan Mallinson explores and explains the grand strategic shift that occurred in the century before the war, the British Army's regeneration after its drubbings in its fight against the Boer in South Africa, its almost calamitous experience of the first 20 days fighting in Flanders to the point at which the British Expeditionary Force, the old, contemptibles, took up the pick and the spade in the middle of September 1914. For it was then that the war changed from one of rapid and brutal movement into the now familiar image of the trenches and the coming of the territorials, Kitcheners, Pauls, and ultimately the conscripts, and of course the poets. And with them that terrible sense of the pity and of the futility